It's for breakfast now. Nintendo. It's a cereal. Wow. Nintendo. Super Mario Jump. Nintendo. In a fruit flavored crunch. Nintendo. Here's Zelda too. Nintendo. It's very good news. Nintendo. You just can't move. Nintendo cereal system is a super part of this nutritious breakfast. Nintendo. 2 cereals in 1. Wow.
How's it going, everybody? Good morning to and welcome to Video Games and Tea, episode 5 for July 5th, 2017. I mean, I've got to show that. That is the intro to the show. One of the many intros to the show, Death. I have about 15 different breakfast intros to the show. It makes me finally remember how fucking awesome the 80s and 90s were for video game commercials and video game tie-ins. I mean, you had a video game tie-in to everything. It was incredible. You had video game tie-ins to McDonald's, to Burger King, to cereals, Kellogg's, everything. It was the shit. Pizza. It was the best time ever to be a kid. It was so awesome. Thanks so much, Andrew. My girlfriend got this hat for me. I mean, I feel like it's the perfect representation of me because it's got a pizza on it, and I could eat pizza all day, every day, and be totally happy with life. I would love life if I had pizza. I would probably have to, vary it up. I'd have to get a few different types of pizzas. I'd have to figure out some breakfast pizza, lunch pizza, and dinner pizza, but I could probably do it. And I think I could make it 7 days a week. I wouldn't have a girlfriend anymore, though. That'd be the problem, because she would leave me. Because she likes pizza, but she doesn't like pizza like me. That's for sure. How's everybody doing this morning in the chat? It's good seeing you guys hanging out here. I did not do a show yesterday. I thought I was going to stream yesterday, but then the day got away from me. And then Moms and I, Kelly, we did our recap for Fear the Walking Dead, Season 3, Episode 6? Yes, it was Episode 6, entitled Red Dirt. So, yeah, that's where I was yesterday. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a Video Games and Tea yesterday. I planned on, honestly, doing a Telltale Tuesday, and that's kind of what I would like to do going forward is, instead of doing Video Games and Tea, or I may do both. I'm not 100% sure yet. I definitely want to do Video Games and Tea at least 4 days a week. And Tuesday is usually a big game day because that's when the new releases come out. So for the most part, I will always be doing a show on Tuesday because I want to talk about the new games that just came out that day if there's a game that I really dig. Unfortunately, July 4th, obviously it was 4th of July. Not a lot of cool games coming out on 4th of July. I don't think video game companies were like, let's put a game out on 4th of July. Even though it makes sense to me. It feels like a great day because you got it off most of the time. So that way you can play a lot if you're in the States. That's for sure. So it was not long enough. That is for sure. I don't even know what that was. For sure. But yeah, what I'm thinking about is doing some Telltale Tuesdays where I get on and stream some Telltale games because there's so many that I need to beat. There's so many that I've played like the first 2 episodes and did not finish them. I'm looking at you, Batman. I'm looking at you, Game of Thrones. Even though on Game of Thrones I got all the way up to, I believe, the next to the last episode. So there's 6 of them. I finished 4, so I need 5 and 6. I need 2 more on that one. And then Borderlands, Tales from the Borderlands, I don't think I finished the first one. It was embarrassing that I didn't finish the first one. So yeah, I've got lots of Telltale stuff that I need to get into. I need to finish The Walking Dead Season 3 as well. Oh, that's awesome, Osapeda, that you finally got caught up with Fear. Now you can watch the channel. Yay! We had a really good discussion on Fear the Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 6 yesterday. I think it was a good discussion, especially for Fear the Walking Dead, which is not the greatest show ever. I think that I summed it up perfectly in our review that solid but not memorable is what Fear the Walking Dead is. That's for sure. And I don't know if Borderlands 2 is coming today. I'm actually going to be out of town this weekend. I'm leaving out tomorrow night to go to Austin, Texas, to go to Rooster Teeth, 2017. I'm very excited about that. I've never been to an RTX convention, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of gaming stuff, lots of anime stuff. So I'm very excited about that. But I've got to go drop off the dog to Mom's today. Mom is being very nice and going to take care of the dog, even though it's a pretty far drive to meet one another in order to drop the dog off. So, oh, that's you were going on. Oh, okay. She said, sorry, I'm typing on my phone. Screen is too small to see what I'm typing. I totally understand your pain whenever I use my phone for Mixer and everything. So, I've been leaving quite a few weekends. Actually, just one. I think we were just lazy this past weekend. Got to cut the laziness out. Death convinced Moms and I cut the laziness out. Get to the gaming on the weekends. We got to beat Borderlands 2 because we got Destiny 2 beta coming up here pretty soon, and then we've got Fortnite coming up pretty soon. So we got a lot of Borderlands that we got to knock out because I don't want to do what I normally do and not beat the freaking game. Get like almost all the way to the finish and not cross the finish line. So, oh man, that sucks that it's stormy. That's not great. Hopefully not. I don't want to drive a lot in the storm today. That's for sure. And I forgot about this. If you're watching this later on YouTube or VidMe, the chat's coming in. I don't have the chat up right now. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should turn the chat on in here. But I need to do something different so that way it doesn't mess up my my lovely picture of Mom's up there screaming in the left corner, and then doesn't mess up my picture of Joel as well. But I need to get the chat where it scrolls in here at the same time. So yeah, a lot of Destiny 2 news coming this week. I say we jump right into the news. Hey, what's going on, Bernie Ninja? How's it going? I've got my tea here. Me and Kylo, we're about to sip some tea together and get ready to get into the gaming news for July 5th, 2017. It's Wednesday, and I've got some wacky Wednesday stories for sure. I don't know if I should start with the wacky Wednesday story. I think I should. I think I should start with the wacky Wednesday story. I've got 3 stories that 2 are one's very wacky, and another one is like semi-wacky in the fact that I feel bad for this poor guy, and then the third one is just kind of like, it's weird because it feels like some kind of awkward future that we will probably be living in at some point with VR and getting restricted on what we do within that VR world. So that's one of the stories as well. So I say without further ado, let's get into the news. Haven't done that before, but it just felt right at that moment to say it like that. So the first news story that we got up here is Penis Gun Game explores illegal gay hookups in the 60s. If you don't know anything about this game, it's entitled the Tea Room Game. It actually came out last Thursday, so it's out. It's on PC, and it's a very interesting game. It's basically, I don't even know if I could do it justice with a description. And whenever I saw this article on Kotaku, the description wasn't. It was. I mean, it's a really good article. I suggest you guys go check it out. But it's basically about in the 60s how obviously if being gay in the 60s was not okay. Like people were not as tolerant or welcoming as they are today in 2017. If you encountered somebody that was gay, those people, were kind of ostracized and looked at, because a lot of the times people bring religion into it and they're like, oh my God, being gay, that you're going to hell, that kind of stuff. And it's crazy, but that's what life was like in the 60s for people. But in this game, it explores how restrooms and public places like that were places that people got together that were gay and they could hook up. but they were always fearful for the cops. They never knew, like, is this going to be a cop? Is this going to be somebody that wants to hook up with me? So that's what this game is about. Like, you kind of have to watch out, like, should you hook up with this person, or will this person turn out to be a cop and bust you? The thing about it is, the developer of the game was super pissed off because the developer of the game had penises in the game. Full on, penis. And apparently on Twitch and, some of like the streaming services, I don't know about Mixer, but definitely Twitch. The developer singled out Twitch and was pissed off that you couldn't show penis or genitalia on Twitch for some reason. Which you can show like some weird things, but then there's other things like Twitch has like problems with and everything. So the developer turned the penises into guns. Now I've got a trailer that I want to show you guys. I've never watched this trailer, so we're watching it together for the first time. And it might not be safe for work, so so watch out if you're watching this at work right now. But then again, it's just a gun in the place of a penis. So how is that not safe for work? I don't know. But there's some very interesting gameplay elements with this, because basically you go in the bathroom and you get a BJ. That's what goes down in the public restroom in this game. But since you have a penis gun, you don't necessarily get off the same way that you would if you had a normal male genitalia. So instead, you basically shoot your gun. I hope that it happens in this trailer, because I think that will be fantastic. But see, you gotta check this guy out. You're like, Alright, here it comes, guys. Here it comes. Oh, wait. No, it didn't show it. The name of this game is the Tea Room game. There you go, see? He's got a gun. This is a very strange game, guys. And it's Wacky Wednesday, so I thought I would start it out with a weird game. Yeah, see? It's got a water... Yes, it's a water gun filled with urine. I do think it's odd that your gun shoots out urine. That's a little strange to me. But hey, I didn't develop the game, and this guy's just got his gun just hanging out. He's like, oh, whoa now. It seemed to have gotten a lot bigger from the beginning. This game is wild already. That is a lot of urine, folks. Lots of urine. That guy hadn't peed in weeks. It's going down. It's going down, guys. It's going down. Oh my dear God. Holy shit. The cops busted him. Oh, it was a sting operation.
I guess there's only one thing left for us to do now, Billies.
You better run. You better jump out the window. Get out the window. Wow. Well, that was the Tea Room game. Very interesting game. Yeah, I'm with you about that, Death. I'm like, that's a weird one. Yeah, the Tea Room. The Tea Room is a historical piece based on real events. It strives to recreate a sliver of the fear that many gay men felt at the time. I think it's a very interesting game, and I think it's a game that I'm glad that it's out there. Because it's a very weird game. It's going to get a lot of eyes on it. Just like I watched it just now, it was not on my radar at all until I saw this headline come up on my Twitter feed of Penis Gun Game Explores Illegal Gay Hookups in the 60s. That was an attention-grabbing headline. I was like, I was all on it. I wanted to figure out. I want to know what this game was, and I think it's a very cool game to come out. I think it's an interesting twist that this developer put on the game in order to make it where people could stream it on Twitch, because people are going to be streaming this on Twitch. There's no doubt about it. Like we could probably go to Twitch right now, as long as Twitch hasn't banned the game, which I don't know how they could, even though it was very awkward seeing somebody lick a gun and it was like beep, beep, beep. Oh, you can't see my hand. It was like like that. Yeah, that was weird. But yeah, it is crazy that the guns go off when you come to completion. Very, very strange. Apparently, Ditsy's going to be rushing out to buy that one. Oh, well, Boss Moms needs to go ahead and stream that if she's going to rush out and pick that up. All right, so that was the first weird, wacky news story that I had for you guys. The next one up is, let's see. I thought this was... There's stream is a game called Intel Jousting. That's weird. I've never seen that one before. Wow, that's crazy though, Osapeda. Here's another story in Wacky Wednesday gaming news. Xbox fan with the highest gamer score goes on honeymoon and then loses the top spot after 11 freaking years. This dude was on top of the world. He had the most Xbox achievements of all time. He had over 1 million Xbox achievements. 1.5 million, I guess, was his gamer score. Stallion83 was his gamer tag. And how crazy is this? You get married, you're like, oh, this is such a joyous occasion, and you go on your honeymoon, and then you have such devastation. I don't know how devastated this guy was, but I did think that it was quite hilarious. This guy, his name is Ray Cox. He's held that title for so long, 11 years. You know how, that's a struggle, people. To only play games really for the achievements, that's got to be a nightmare, because you know this dude is playing lots of really shitty-ass games to get those quick and easy achievement points. And to think that this guy has been in a battle. The fact that he just goes on honeymoon, and the time that he spends on his honeymoon, he loses his gamer score. That is crazy to me. It's so bad that he lost it. He was toppled by Steven Smirnoff Rowe, who has continuously chased Cox's score over the past decade. But I do love this. I love Ray Cox's response to losing his gamer score. I've been too busy having all the sex. Perfect gift, perfect everything. The fact that he has Chris Farley, yes, all the yes right there. I freaking love that so much. You can never go wrong with Chris Farley. May he forever rest in peace. Love that dude. He's phenomenal. I miss him all the time. He was so funny. So his current gamer score total stands at 1.5 million. His latest achievement, unlocked 3 hours ago, comes from from indie game Knee Deep. I mean, what the hell is Knee Deep? Who's ever heard of that game? Let's get real, guys. You're just going out there and you're getting achievements that are bullshit achievements. But I'm sure he's gotten a lot of legit ones. I don't know what my gamer score is, to be honest. Death. I feel like I'm somewhere in the. Maybe I'm in 13,000. I don't know. Let me check. I will check real quick. I'll pull up the old Xbox One, and we'll actually see if you have a friend request for me in there. I haven't turned it on lately. Let me see. Let me see what my gamer score is. Where can I see it at on here? Sorry, guys. I'm leaving you with the Chris Farley right there, which I know is fantastic. 78,976 Osapeda. Damn, that is impressive. Let's see. Well, apparently in the last, let's see, 26 days. I have a zero gamer score for July at this point, so I'm way below all my friends on my friends list. Let's see. Where the hell? Oh, there we go. I couldn't figure out where my gamer score was. Yeah, I'm at 13,255 That's my piddly gamer score compared to this guy's 1,585,854. Jeez Louise, that dude is. I think he's got to be having fun. I mean, that's a lot of gaming. That's a lot of fun. But I did think that this was a nice wacky Wednesday news story. The fact that this guy gets married and loses his claim to fame while he gets married. Now he's going to be chasing that other dude. Now he's going to be chasing Steven Smirnoff Rowe, who maybe that dude gets married, and then Ray Stallion 83 Cox gets him back. So let's see how many followers this guy has on Twitter. 20,000 followers. That's crazy. He's a partnered Twitch live streamer as well. So that's impressive. Very, very, very impressive on behalf of Ray Cox and Steven for passing him up. Kudos to you guys. That's pretty awesome. Yes, Ditzy is just killing all the characters in State of Decay. That's a pretty. I mean, the average is 27,000 to 30,000. I wonder if I would have like somewhere around that range if I didn't go to the PS4, because that's where most of my games have been played for PS4. But even PS4, I don't have. I think I'm only at maybe a level 11 or something like that on PS4. Those achievements, they do get me. I do love those achievements because it is so nice when it pops up there. I know I've talked about it before. I don't know if I talked about it here or just during one of our other live streams, maybe during Friday the 13th, because I love that game so much, but the achievements on that are such bullshit. It's so hard to get them. Platinuming that game, holy crap. I can't wait to see somebody actually platinum that game. It's going to be quite amazing platinum. So 13,000 is pretty good though, Death. I think that's an admirable gamer score for sure. Stallion used the EU games to boost score. Cheating bastard. Not really. I mean, it's still playing games at the same time, but that's interesting that he did that as well. But I guess you would probably have to, right? Because who knows? Is there enough games out there to get that big of a gamer score? Unless you're dipping into the pools of other because Japan gets exclusive games that we don't get over here in the States. So you could play those games. Even though I doubt Xbox gets many Japanese games that don't come out here in the States, because typically the Xbox sucks butts over in Japan. It just does terrible numbers wise over there in Japan. Unfortunately, I mean Phil Spencer, he's like, I'm not giving up on Japan. We're going to win in Japan, and I'm like, bro, you're not going to win in Japan. I mean, Sony at this point is kind of sucking in Japan as well. Like, Japan is weird. It's a place where it's synonymous with video games. I think of Japan, I think of video games. But then it's just over the last couple of years, the video game community has just kind of gone down, and so has the developers there. It's just been recently that Japanese developers have been kind of making a comeback and making some really, really solid games for the PlayStation, the Xbox, the Nintendo Switch, which is really nice to see. I hated seeing the Japanese gaming community kind of regress a little bit, because I've always wanted to go to Japan, because I just, I think I'm like, oh my God, everybody's gonna be playing video games in the street. I know that's like a stereotype, but that's how I feel about Japan. So, but it is good to see them coming back. I was gonna go into a news story about console sales in Japan. They're on the up and up, which is good to see. So, let's see. Going to the next news story. This is the one that I thought was weird, and it kind of was talking to my earlier point about what's going to happen when we live in the VR world. And when you live in the VR world, once it becomes perfected, like you see on the TV shows where you have these fantastic relationships in this virtual reality world, you're able to do anything and everything. Think like Ready Player One. Ready Player One it's a fantastic book. Can't wait to see the movie when it comes out next year. But in that game, or in that book, they live in this virtual reality world because their real life world sucks. It's terrible. We've got poverty everywhere. This just like it's almost like living in a post-apocalyptic world in Ready Player One. So going in this virtual reality world, it's obviously much better for them. That's where they learn. That's where they go to school. It's crazy. But thinking about that, would developers? Oh, what was that? I got some kind of commercial going on this Eurogamer site. Would developers want to restrict your time in that VR world? Because according to Eurogamer, this Chinese developer has restricted game time for its mobile hit that has been labeled poison by the Chinese government. The game is apparently a League of Legends knockoff called Honor of Kings. But I thought this was a very interesting story because growing up as a gamer, I got restricted somewhat on the times that I could play. Not as much as I probably should have. I think moms and dad both let me play games probably a little bit more than I probably should when I was a much younger kid. But I love them for it. Thank you, moms. Thank you, dad, for letting me play games when I was a kid until the wee hours of the morning. But this developer, which the developer is Tencent, that is the developer in China, they have made it where if you are players under 12 are limited to 1 hour of gameplay each day, while those aged between 12 and 18 are limited to 2 hours per day. And if you are under 12, they stop you from playing completely after 9 p.m. Insanity, right? Because they probably got some kind of age restriction thing that you have to put in your age or whatnot in order to get on the game. This is crazy to me. 1 hour per day if you're under 12 to be able to play this game, and if you're 12 to 18, that's a mighty big age range there. To be able to be told that I can only play a video game for 2 hours per day. I think I would go get your competitor game and I'd play the shit out of it and I would laugh in your face for trying to make me only be able to play for 2 hours. So I just think this is insanity to me. I like where their head's at in the sense of, hey, let's help these people maybe go outside, these kids or something that are maybe playing games for too long. They're not being active participants in the rest of life, because we all get caught up in that, whether it be TV shows, books, video games, whatever. Video games always get the bad rap. Everybody wants to talk, shit about video games, that it's a time suck and that it's unhealthy, all these kinds of things. But then that same person will go binge like 20 straight hours of Netflix on their couch all freaking weekend, and then they want to look down upon video games. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. It's so dumb. So sorry, I had to get a drink real quick. But yeah, I've always found that interesting how as a medium, video games gets looked down upon compared to television binging, watching movies. There's a convention in Austin, Texas called the Butt-Numb-a-thon. I think it's in Austin, Texas, and it's literally where you watch movies for, I think it's like 24 hours straight, and nobody says anything about that. That's unhealthy as crap. Like, I mean, you're sitting there in a theater like this, watching 24 hours of movies. But then people want to say, oh, these 24-hour Twitch streams, they're unhealthy, they're terrible for you. I will agree. Anything for 24 hours straight is unhealthy. I think anything for 12 hours straight is unhealthy. But definitely, I find it very odd that this company, Tencent, is doing this. So another thing that happened because of this, I saw this on NeoGAF, one of the forums. Tencent, the company, the developer behind this restricting of playtime, they have basically lost billions in market value. So, which is insane. It says Honor of Kings is the top grossing mobile game, generating revenues of about $876 million for Tencent in the first quarter of this year, according to estimates by analysts who say more than 50 million people play the game daily. The time limits follow criticism from authorities and from the public that the game is too addictive, and raised fears among investors that the company is in Beijing sights. Because apparently 2 weeks ago, a 17-year-old boy suffered a stroke after playing nonstop for 40 hours. Wow. The stories get crazier and crazier. According to this NeoGAF, actually, this was from this article. This person just kind of got the highlights. Last week, state media reported a 13-year-old boy had broken his legs jumping from a third-floor window after his parents stopped him from playing. Holy shit. I don't think I would have ever hurt myself, jumped from a 3-story window if mom's or dad was like, hey, that Ridge Racer game on the PlayStation 1, you got to stop playing it. Resident Evil needs to be shut off after 9 p.m. No, I'm going to jump out this 3-story window. No, I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. That's crazy. But yeah, according to this article from the paywall, the company shares closed down 4.13% in Hong Kong on Tuesday, their biggest fall in 23 months. Holy crap. That's insanity to me. So I cannot believe that this is happening. I think if you're playing for 40 hours nonstop, somebody in your family needs to be, that needs to be the person that says you need to stop playing for a little bit. Suffering a stroke after playing nonstop for 40 hours, I don't know how people do that. I love video games, but I also get distracted by other things very quickly. So maybe that's my problem. Maybe that's why I don't play games for 40 hours in a row. But I thought that was a weird news story, and I thought it was apt for Wacky Wednesday, weird news stories in the world of gaming, especially after we open it up with the Tea Room game, which I thought was a very weird news story. But okay, so I want to get into some quick news, some quick hits, some quick hitters. I just saw this news came out. I thought this was very interesting, very cool. Assassin's Creed anime announced by Castlevania Netflix producer. This just hit IGN, I think just a little bit ago. So basically, this guy, his name is Adi Shankar. He's the producer of Netflix's upcoming Castlevania Netflix show. He's going to be creating an anime set in the Assassin's Creed universe. I think this is perfect. I think Assassin's Creed, even though I'm not really big into those games, apparently earlier Death said that, let's see. Oh, well, I'm going to be show these people on Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I mean, lots of people play Assassin's Creed, and the movie kind of stunk. Not very many people went to see that movie, and unfortunately, because Michael Fassbender is the man, he is he's an acting legend in my opinion, and I thought Assassin's Creed the movie was going to be better than it was. But I think Assassin's Creed anime is going to be could be really cool. I think that whole world and the whole lore of Assassin's Creed, I think is really, really cool. I've always been interested in that, like time travel and the virtual reality, the animus, all that kind of stuff. The gameplay just never hooked me. I just thought it was just repetitive. You're doing the same stuff over and over again. It's just with different, skins of NPC characters, basically, and it just felt repetitive to me. I know a lot of people dig the crap out of Assassin's Creed, just not for me. But I do think this Netflix show could be a lot of fun. And you're right, Osapeda. I'm sure they're going to promote binging the crap out of this new Assassin's Creed series. But if somebody wants to binge the crap out of playing Assassin's Creed Origins, the new one, they'll be like, no, that's bad. That's bad for you. I'm excited, though, this weekend. The Castlevania series is going to premiere at RTX. I'm going to try and check that out. I think it's going to be fun. So I'm hoping for good things from that Castlevania Netflix series. I hope it's good. Want to throw that out there. Really quick news story. The next quick news story is Tomb Raider movie. Yes, keeping it kind of in the world of video games, going over to TV into movies. The Tomb Raider movie. It's got a release date. I want the trailer, but apparently the trailer has not came out yet. This is what I want. But it's going to be releasing on March 16th, 2018. It stars Alicia Vikander, and she is badass. Did I say Alicia? I think it's Alicia. I don't know where I was going with Alicia Vikander. But yeah, I really love that chick. She's badass. She was in Ex Machina. Man, that movie's good. If you haven't seen Ex Machina, it's a fantastic flick. And it also stars Hannah John Kamen, who is excellent in the TV show Killjoys. Really love her in that. Walton Goggins, the man. He is a badass in Justified. I love him in that new TV show Vice Principals with Danny McBride. That show is hilarious. Walton Goggins, he's great. And also stars Danny Wu and Dominic West. Dominic West from The Wire, I believe, if I'm not mistaken on that. So I'm very excited about this movie. I think Alicia Vikander is a perfect casting for the reboot of Lara Croft's story. I like that they're going to kind of take what they did with the video games, where they completely rebooted the video game world, made it, it just made it more realistic. I love this new Lara Croft in the video game. I beat the first Tomb Raider that just came out a couple years ago. I have not beat Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I haven't beat that. I know Kelly has beaten it. She really enjoyed it. Thought it was a fantastic game. I thought Tomb Raider, when it came out, I think that was 2013 or something like that. What's going on, Death? Glad you're back. Glad you're back, Death. Whenever I beat that, I thought it was one of the games of the year. I thought it was very underrated. I know it got high scores, but I felt like it should have gotten 10 out of 10s. I think that it was just that damn good. Okay, so yeah, it said plans for a Croft reboot film begin in 2011 and were accelerated after her brilliant PS3 and Xbox 360 game Tomb Raider revitalized Lady Lara 2 years later. So yeah, it was 2013. I'm just excited. I'm excited for this. 2018, I think it's gonna be great. It did say something about a trailer, but I didn't see anything about a trailer in this. I think this was deceiving, Games Radar. It said cast, trailer, release date, and everything you need to know. I don't see anything about a release date in this. Where's it at? Oh, San Diego Comic-Con. There you go. Nice, Andrew. Yeah. It said there's a good chance we might see something at San Diego Comic-Con 2017. Yes. Comic-Con is rapidly approaching, and I cannot wait. It's going to be great for lots of TV show news, and I'm sure there's going to be some video game stuff sprinkled in there as well, as the gaming side of Comic-Con has grown tremendously over the last couple of years. And then we got Gamescom coming right after that. So right now, the gaming news is kind of slow. Let's get real. The gaming news kind of sucks at this point. There's just not a whole lot of juicy gaming news. There's not a whole lot of new trailers, because a lot of the new trailers debuted at E3 2017. So I can't wait for the news to start picking back up and starting to see new things in the world of gaming. I can't wait for Tomb Raider to get this trailer. I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, look how badass Alicia Vikander looks there. I mean, look at that. She looks fierce. She reminds me so much. She has a very similar physical appearance to Lara Croft in those rebooted games. So I'm very, very excited about that. So yeah, hopefully at San Diego Comic-Con 2017, we will get a trailer. Speaking of, hey, Andrew, I'm right on it. Destiny got a lot of news. You're right about that. I'm excited about Destiny 2. I saw this on Twitter the other day, Destiny Trials Report. You can go follow them. It said, mark your calendars. Important D2 dates according to IGN. Today, July 5th, we're going to be exploring the new social space, the farm in Destiny 2, and just lots of stuff. I mean, so you can see right here, Bungie's vision for Destiny 2 comes tomorrow. July 7th, first impressions. July 10th, PvP reveal. The story of Destiny 2. Just lots of stuff, because leading up to July 18th, the Destiny 2 beta live. Very excited about Destiny 2. I'm ready to get moms into Destiny and beat the single player. Well, beat the co-op campaign in Destiny 1. I think that'll be a lot of fun. You're killing me over here, Games Radar, with your little sound that keeps popping up. Get out of here. How excited are you guys for Destiny, and do you guys play Destiny? I would love to know. Let me know in the chat right now or in the comment box down below. I think Destiny 2 has a lot of potential to be great. I think there was a lot of good things in Destiny 1. I never really played it correctly because it was my introduction to the world of MMOs, and I know it was like MMO light, but it still wasn't MMO to me. I never grew up playing lots of role-playing games, or yeah, obviously I didn't grow up playing World of Warcraft or anything like that. So Destiny was kind of my introduction into that world, and I thought it was really cool. It had a lot of promise. For me, I just didn't really know what I was doing. I looked at it more as like bang bang shoot up. Whenever there was a lot more depth to it than what there was a lot more depth to it than what I got to. I just scratched the surface on Destiny 1, that's for sure. Yeah, Andrew, I'm all about that. I'm most likely gonna get it for PS4. I think we haven't decided yet, but ooh yeah, if you're getting the Xbox One X, you got to save that money. I'm telling you, Ospeda, you should have done what I did. Took advantage of those GameStop deals. I talked to you guys about that the other day, and then I went back and hit them up again. I got one last run into GameStop, and I traded in 6 games and got 214 bucks. And I think I paid. I think I paid I paid $100 in the games that I went out and purchased. Like I went and found some 2-for-1s again, some really cheap deals. I got Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2 at Target for 20 bucks, and so I traded my $100 out of my pocket into $214 in GameStop credits. So I've got plenty of GameStop credits right now. I am rich in GameStop credits. I may not be rich in real life, but at GameStop I'm rich. You know, I roll in, they roll out the red carpet for me and everything. So I'm excited for Xbox One X, even though it didn't really show me a whole lot at E3, but I'm still intrigued by the hardware, the technology, the infrastructure of that Xbox One X. They packed a lot of goodness in that console. I'm not a huge PC gamer, but I've learned a lot over the last couple of, honestly, probably the last year about PC gaming, more so than I ever had in the past. And I mean, that's a powerful piece of hardware that Xbox One X has. They just got to get games for it. So, wow, that's incredible that you have 250,000 points. That's impressive. The most points I ever had was, I think, was like 100,000. But whenever I got my PS4 Pro, I cashed a lot of that out, so that way I could put it down on my PS4 Pro, because I traded in my PS4 to upgrade to a PS4 Pro, but I also used some of my points as well. But that is a lot of points. Yeah, that's awesome, Andrew. The PS4 is definitely the place to go to get Destiny. And you're right, Osapeda, the story was kind of boring. I'm gonna get that sucker. Who keeps playing? Who keeps playing a little bit of something? I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna close those out. I think it might have been one of them. Destiny, the story was a little bit disappointing. There's no doubt about that. Especially the original Destiny that came out with the game, the base game, not the Taken King and the third DLC, which I forget what that was. Like was that Rise of Iron or something like that? The base story was whack. It definitely was. I'm curious if Kelly will like it or not, or she'll be like, this is the most boring thing ever. Hopefully not. I want her to like it. I still, the gameplay in Destiny is king. There's not a, in my eyes, there's not a better first-person shooter than Destiny, and that's what to me, that's what hooks people in, is the fact that you do have all of these, you know, you have all this depth in Destiny as far as compared to just regular first-person shooters like Call of Duty, Halo, that type of stuff. But then you also get that amazing gameplay that you got with the Halos and Call of Duties, but then now you have so many other things to do. I know a lot of people said that Destiny didn't have enough content, and that Destiny was just weak when it came to things to do in the game. But I'm thinking, in my eyes, coming new into the MMO world, I'm like, are you kidding me? Destiny has so much shit to do. I can't even keep up with all the crazy stuff that Destiny has to do in the game. But that's coming from the perspective of not playing a lot of MMOs. I'm sure if you do play a lot of MMOs, you're like, this is weak. You know, Destiny doesn't have enough raids. These strikes are boring. I've done them before. But for me, looking at it as a first-person shooter game first with MMO elements, I thought that it was very deep game. Just the story sucked. So I'm with you, Cepeda. The older I've gotten, the more I'm into a good story. Like I used to just love games for gameplay, and I still do. I just bought Drive Club on the PS4. I'm really excited to play that. I went and watched Baby Driver over the weekend, and all I wanted to do was play a racing game. You know, I used to love fighting games growing up. Tekken, Battle Arena Toshinden was one of my favorites. Never really got into Street Fighter, but Mortal Kombat was my jam. And, you know, those games didn't always have the best story. Mortal Kombat, I thought, did an admirable job, and Tekken to some extent. But a lot of those fighting games, you just played them for the gameplay. A lot of racing games, you just played them for the gameplay. Now, you know, everybody's like, I gotta have RPG elements in my freaking racing game and shit, like The Crew and those types of games, which I'm not as keen on. I want my racing games for game. Like, I want it for the gameplay. So, but it's cool. I understand. You know, the fact that you have been a role player for quite some time. What is UO? Is that Ultimate? What is UO? I don't know what that is. So, but yeah, a lot of role-playing elements are coming in to your more mainstream video games. I mean, Call of Duty you're probably gonna have stuff. When you see Madden getting a story single-player campaign, that's when you know how important those role-playing game elements are to the gaming world. The fact that they're bringing those mechanics into games like Madden and FIFA, the sports games, people want more. They're tired of just playing the same old every year. Oh, Ultima Online. That's awesome. Did you get did you get those in the sale, Cepeda? The Telltale game, Shadow of Mordor, Firewatch in the Long Dark. The Xbox sale is still going on, and it's great. So I'm about to pick up a few games. We picked up Gears of War, the first one, Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Moms and I picked that up. We're going to be co-streaming that on Mixer here pretty soon, which is going to be a lot of fun. But I did want to talk about something with Destiny real quick before we get into the last news story of the day. This is something about Destiny that I don't know if it's a mistake or not, and you guys tell me. I know, Andrew, you're a huge Destiny player, but according to PlayStation Universe, Destiny 2 removes random rolls for armor and gear. So if you played Destiny, even my time playing Destiny, not knowing what the hell I was doing, I was like, why is this gun? It's the same gun that this other person has, but why is their gun better than mine? And it's because, just like in Friday the 13th with the perks, whenever you roll those perks or get those random guns, they had certain attributes to them that were different from the exact same gun that somebody else had. And it was frustrating for some, but for some other people that played Destiny extensively, they kind of liked this because it was a part of the randomness, a part of the challenge of grinding it out to get that better gun. But in Destiny 2, they've removed that. They've removed those random rolls. So now, if you got a gun, it's the exact same gun that other person has. There's no different perks. There's no different abilities or anything. And I just don't know. I don't know about this. So, Andrew, you think it's brilliant news, and people are loving this. So I guess on the to counter that argument, how is it going to keep people coming back? So, a big part of Destiny is that loot grinding, that gun grinding. You got to get that gun, and you want it to have the best perks and abilities on that gun that you find. And so a lot of people, they just continuously grind it out. They do the same strikes over and over, the same missions, the same raids, because they want to get Again, I can remember right now at the top of my head is that Gallarhorn. They want to get that Gallarhorn with like the best perks, the best abilities. So they're like, I got the Gallarhorn, but it's not the best one, so I'm going to do the raid again until I get the very best one. So, so I'm curious how this is going to keep people hooked in Destiny 2 without having those random weapons and everything. So, so they have weapon mods in it, so that'll keep people. If they have weapon mods, I think that's cool. I think that'll be a whole lot of fun. And apparently they're gonna have many more weapons, right? Is what I've heard, which I'm thankful for. And they had a lot of weapons in Destiny 1, but if they're not gonna have random rolls, I feel like that just means they need to add more and more weapons in the game in order for people to have that reason to do that strike, to do that raid over and over again, because they want to get another weapon and everything. So. But yeah, according to Luke Smith, he said there aren't random rolls on weapons anymore. Commented Smith, Better Devils is a Crucible hand cannon in Destiny 2, and what it has on it is what it has on it, period. It's going to give us more flexibility to do per item tuning. That's something we haven't had before because of the way we were building the first game. He said, despite this, Smith said the team is looking at ways in which to evolve gear for those who end up inevitably collecting the same piece of armor or weapon multiple times. So how can my second, third, and 10th Better Devil's hand cannon be interesting? That's a question we should be asking and answering as quickly as we can. We have ideas. While I would like nothing more than to share those ideas with you, we're up against the deadline. I don't know if they'll make it in for our September 6th release date, but we have some ideas that we're pretty excited about. What? Luke Smith. Bro, the game is coming out in a couple of months, and you took away these random rolls, but you don't know what you're going to implement in the game yet. I don't even understand that. Oh, my bad. I did not. Oh, well, okay. My example was bad, Andrew. The fact that exotics always have the same stats, they don't change. But you know what I meant. I just couldn't think of another weapon in the game. It's been a long time since I played it. The Gallarhorn was the only one that I could remember the name of. And I have seen that they said they won't have content droughts anymore like they did in the past. That they've got, I think, 3 other developers working on content. One of the developers worked on Skylanders. I feel like one of the developers worked on, I don't know, Infamous or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, they've got, besides Bungie, they've at least got 2 other developers that are going to be working on content all the time. So that way, yeah, there's not just these extensive content droughts like they had on Destiny 1. Which is good. I'm excited about Destiny 2. I don't, a lot of people are saying it's going to just be Destiny 1.5. I'm cool with that. Whatever. I don't care. As long as the gameplay is just as good, we get a new storyline, we get a better story, like Osapita was saying. We got to have that amazingly good campaign story. There's got to be a reason that we have emotional ties to these characters in Destiny 2 compared to how Destiny 1 was just kind of. It felt like this big expansive world, but it felt like an empty world as well. So hopefully in Destiny 2 the world will be more filled out. I'm gonna kill these bugs. I got a fly in here. It looks like a little fruit fly. I'm gonna punch it right in its face. Just right in its face. All right. So the last news story that I want to talk to you guys about is a NeoGAF thread. I think this is really cool. I want to get you guys' thoughts on this as we discuss it. So this immediately grabbed me. It's amazing how a single mediocre game is enough to kill off a franchise. That's a bold headline right there. A single mediocre game is enough to kill off a franchise. And then the thread was quite lengthy. And the game that immediately came to mind, I didn't even read the thread or anything. I just replied back and I said Mass Effect, cough, cough. And I meant Mass Effect Andromeda, because for all intents and purposes, Mass Effect Andromeda has killed the Mass Effect franchise. We talked about the news of Andromeda not getting any single-player DLC, the poor sales, the poor review scores, the fact that it's $20 right now and the game just came out a few months ago. Think about this. Horizon Zero Dawn just came out a couple months ago as well. That came out February 28th. Now, you can find Horizon Zero Dawn on sales, but it's typically about $39.99 still, and that's just because it's like on a sale. And then it goes right back up to $59.99. Mass Effect Andromeda is $20. 2-0 for a game that is a part of the most beloved franchise of all time. One of supposedly the best trilogies of games of all time. And its successor is now $20, having only came out a couple of months ago. That's almost unheard of. So I thought this was a very interesting NeoGAF thread to discuss of like, so for you guys, what games have came out for you that you felt has killed the franchise? The franchise was once amazing for you, and then the new game came out in that franchise, and it just crushed it. Like, think of Assassin's Creed Unity. Lots of people love Assassin's Creed. I think you said, Osapeda, that you love playing Assassin's Creed, and then Unity comes out, and it's universally pretty much hated, and it makes Ubisoft go into kind of like a mode of where they've got to rethink their strategy for having an Assassin's Creed game come out every year, and they take a year off. That's not a whole long time. 1 year is nothing in the grand scheme of things. Mass Effect took quite a while to come out from 3 to Andromeda. So, but I think that's a good example. Unity. There's some other ones, some really good ones right here. This one is the one that I agree with the most. Alpha Phoenix on this NeoGAF thread said a few years ago it was Dead Space. Dead Space 3 crushed the Dead Space franchise. Dead Space 1 was such a phenomenal game, and it, in my eyes, Dead Space 1 was every bit as good as Resident Evil 1. Now, obviously, I think Dead Space had better gameplay mechanics because it came out a number of years later, but when you look at it, you feel like, okay, Resident Evil, one of the best survival horror games of all time, beloved. It's spawned numerous remastered versions of the freaking game, and then you have Dead Space, and it was so good. It was so scary. It was by far and away, to me, one of the best survival horror games of all time. And then Dead Space 3 comes out. Who talks about Dead Space anymore? Yeah, exactly. Never made it through Dead Space 3? Yeah, welcome to the club. I don't know. The people that love Dead Space 3, I want to know why. I just never thought it was that good of a game. And so, yeah, I thought that was Dead Space, I think, is a great one. Mirror's Edge Catalyst was brought up quite a bit in this NeoGAF thread. This guy brings up Lucky Metroid gets another chance. Other M was the Black Sheep. Yeah, Andrew, Resident Evil 6. Yeah, did I write that down? Yeah, I wrote Resident Evil 6 down. All right, I don't know if you can see it. Where's it at? Resident Evil 6, right there. Yeah, Resident Evil 6, another game. It almost... Actually, it did. It kind of killed the franchise. They had to go back to the drawing board. They came out with like a couple of games in between, obviously. If we think about Resident Evil games that killed the franchise, that Umbrella Operations game, that should have killed the franchise, because that shit was garbage. I think that was what it was, like Umbrella Chronicles, it was that first-person shooter game. And that's awesome, Osapeda, that you like Resident Evil 6. I didn't hate Resident Evil 6. A lot of people say that Resident Evil 5 killed the franchise. That was the breakaway from, the really good single player campaign. That it was, Resident Evil 4 to me wasn't that scary. I think Resident Evil 4 was fantastic. But I think you look at Resident Evil 1 and 2 as like true survival horror, and then you get into Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5. It started focusing more on action as opposed to that survival horror element, the resource management, all that kind of stuff. You still had to do some resource management, obviously, in 5 and 6, but not as extensively as you had to before. So I love 5. I beat 5 so many freaking times. I still play it today. Moms and I played it on our Rantpocalypse channel. We've live streamed it a few times, and I have so much fun with it. It's just a blast. 6, it didn't do it for me as much, but I still want to go back and play it. But I would put 6 in there in the same vein as this. Amazing how a single mediocre game is enough to kill off a franchise. That's for sure. So Osapeda, you love the storyboard style they used, the blending of the 3-unit stories. I didn't think it was cool. I liked how they did those 3 stories in Resident Evil 6, how they were completely different games in those 3 different stories. I cannot remember all the characters that were in 6. I know it was Leon, Jake. I think his name was Jake. It was one of the characters. He was the new character, and then I forget who was the 3rd story. I don't know who was the 3rd story. I can't remember, but I loved how like Leon's story was more classic Resident Evil, which I thought was great. And then I loved how this new character Jake kind of brought in those elements of 5, where it was like super action and kind of over the top stuff. And I liked that. I thought that was cool. Hey Death, I don't know if I'm gonna get Supreme Commander 2. I've never played that game before. But nobody liked it because it was if Michael Bay directed the game. I can agree with that assessment somewhat, Andrew, for sure. Oh, Chris, Leon, and Jake. Okay, yeah. So and that was right. Like Leon, he was more classic Resident Evil story. Jake was over the top, and then Chris was probably in the blended of the two is what I can kind of remember. I never beat Resident Evil 6. I want to go back and beat it. It's $10 right now, I think, $8 or $10 on Xbox Store, and I would love to get moms together and take out the Umbrella Corporation in Resident Evil 6. I think it would be a lot of fun to go back and actually complete that game, because I've beaten all the Resident Evil games except for like the main line games. The only one that I didn't beat was Code Veronica. Jesus. Code Veronica was so... I just remember being so long back in the day. So long back in the day. But that's the only one that I haven't beaten, besides 6 in like the main franchise. And what am I saying? I haven't beat 7 yet. Damn it. I've got to get my life right, guys. I got to get my life right. I got to go back and beat that. Oh yeah, Resident Evil 0, you play as 2 people. Yeah. 0 was an interesting one. That was Billy, right? I think that was Billy in Resident Evil 0. I never was able to play that game back in the day because I think it came out on GameCube originally. So the tea is almost done. I wanted to get into this just really quickly about Mass Effect, and how it's just insanity to me what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda. If you look at the Metacritic scores on Mass Effect Andromeda, these are the critic reviews. It has a 71 average. A 71 for a Mass Effect game. The user reviews, let's see if it aggregates. It says it's a 4.8 user score. I don't know if that's out of 5, but I would assume that's out of 10, which is really, really bad. But yeah, so what I think is crazy is that Mass Effect Andromeda has a 71 Metacritic score. If you go back, Mass Effect 2 had a 96. A 96 Metacritic score. One of the highest Metacritic scores probably of all time. Games TM, whoever the hell they are, 100. Xbox One magazine, 100. Official Xbox magazine, I don't know what's going on there. These two people are competing. 100. Video Gamer, 100. Games Radar, 100. Eurogamer, 100. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of just like 100 level scores. It looks like it's about 20 reviews before you get down to something that's different than a 100 score. And then you get to Mass Effect 3, which a lot of people crapped on the ending and said that it was just like this horrible ending. I haven't played it, so I don't know, but I do remember all the news and the hubbub about people being pissed off about the game and the ending. It has a 93 Metacritic score. And it still got 100s. Polygon gave it a 100. Polygon's one of the biggest gaming sites there is. Whether you agree with a lot of their articles, that's neither here nor there. They're still one of the biggest gaming websites right now. They gave it a 100. The official Xbox Magazine UK gave it a 100. Game Informer gave it a 100. Eurogamer gave it a 100. And then you get back to Andromeda, and it's a 71. So it is really sad. I thought this was I thought this was a very interesting article on NeoGAF, an interesting thread, I should say, not an article, but an interesting thread on NeoGAF, and I think you guys should go check it out. I'll put the link in the description below for this article because I just thought it was cool. I thought it was a great article. The one game that I'm going to throw out there to you guys, and this is a very controversial pick in my opinion, that I think has killed the franchise, but it's Halo 5 Guardians. I've loved Halo for a while now. I really got into Halo and Halo 2 back when I was in college. Lots of friends played Halo 1 and I watched, and I was like, man, that game looks fun. I don't know about it, but it looks pretty cool. And we used to have LAN parties and stuff, but then when Halo 2 came out, that completely changed the game in my opinion. It was just one of the best first-person shooter games of all time. The Master Chief storyline was fantastic. It was so great. But then, over the years, Halo 3, fantastic. I thought Halo 4 was good. I don't remember a whole lot about Halo 4, so it wasn't like super memorable or anything. But then you get to Halo 5 Guardians, and I just feel for me, Halo 5, I really enjoyed my time with the beta, when I played the beta. But then I don't know if it was the bad taste in my mouth from Halo, the Master Chief Collection, of where I was just so pissed off at 343 that by the time Halo 5 came out, that I was still just like, I had something just deep in me that I was like, F you guys, you really F'd my time over in the Halo Master Chief Collection, because it was so bad, it was so broken, that whenever Halo 5 came out, I just hated it. I hated it. So, and you're right, Andrew. A lot of people did not like Halo 5, and yeah, Mass Effect. It was broken. There was definitely some things that were not great. Mass Effect 3 was the main reason, because it was broken. And then Ospeda said the Citadel DLC was the best and should have been what ended Mass Effect 3. I need to go back and play them. I have them right here. Got them right here. Mass Effect 2. Got it for $8.99 at GameStop, because these are backwards compatible on your Xbox One. And then I got Mass Effect 3. So another $8.99 game that I picked up. I need to go back and play them. They're all three of the trilogy are backwards compatible now on the Xbox One. I just feel like I need like a good solid week. Probably longer than that. Probably like 2 weeks of where I didn't do anything except for play Mass Effect. And I don't even know if then I would still get through them. But it's crazy to look back at these games. You look back at Mass Effect 2, and it says like best of E3 according to IGN.com. Best Xbox 360 game from XPlay. I don't know who XPlay is. They're gone now. They're not around anymore. But right there, you can see that. Yeah, I need to go back and play them. But I thought it was cool. Do you guys have a game that you feel like killed the franchise, for you at least? Dead Space 3? Do you agree with those assessments? Do you feel like Mass Effect Andromeda killed the franchise? Osapeda, you said Assassin's Creed Unity, but at least Origins is back, so maybe Origins will take the franchise back to its former glory. Death Halo 1 is my favorite because the graphics wasn't the best, but it made things very creepy. Oh, well, I wish I knew. I wish I could take part in this conversation that you guys are having, Andrew and Osapeda. I don't know. I never played it. Never played Mass Effect 3, so I could never tell you otherwise if like the ending was bad or not. But I do know a lot of people complained about it. So is Citadel? I will ask this, Osapeda. Is the Citadel DLC? Was it? Did it have events that happened after the end of Mass Effect 3, or was it events that happened prior to the ending that you got in the game of Mass Effect 3? Because that's kind of interesting if it was events that happened, like say prior to whatever the ending of Mass Effect 3 was. I'm speaking in very vague dialogue because I don't know what happened at the end of Mass Effect 3, but I'd be interested to find out. I really want to play those games. Everybody says they're so good. I need to go back. One of my best buddies, he lives and dies by the Mass Effect franchise. He was so hyped for Andromeda. I haven't heard a peep from him about Andromeda. That tells me that Andromeda sucked, because this guy, like in my life, like personal life, he is like the biggest RPG fan, the biggest Mass Effect fan of all time, and he hasn't even like told me one thing about Andromeda. So. But yeah, I'm hopeful for Origins as well. I hope that game is good. I know a lot of Assassin's Creed fans are excited about it. Hopefully, it will come out and do well. It's gonna be competitive the day that it comes out. I think that's October 27th or November 27th. I can't remember the date. Okay, Citadel came out after the ending 3, but should not be played after the end of 3. It was built to be played almost to the last mission of ME3. That's cool. I think that's a very interesting twist with your DLC. Like, it's kind of weird that they would put it out, after everybody would have played Mass Effect 3. Maybe they just didn't have time to include it or something like that with Mass Effect 3. The thing about all of this is, and I think that we can all agree upon, is that Mass Effect Andromeda, Dead Space, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, what do they all have in common? Electronic Arts took over their studio and published those games. So, just saying, EA, keep your hands out of the developers. Get out the way, basically. Get out the way of the developers. Let them do their thing, because yeah, they more or less are now synonymous with killing 3 franchises at this point. So, well, that's all I got. My tea is done. It's time to go for the day. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me and chit-chatting about games. This was fun. I like that you guys are getting into a spirited debate about Mass Effect 3. But at the end of the day, we're all gamers, and yeah, of course, we're all going to complain about everything, right? They didn't show this. They should have done this. My favorite character died in the game. So, oh, Knights of the Old Republic 2? Is that one? Did that kill it? Did that kill you? I thought that game was good. So, man. Knights of the Old Republic 2. I need to go back and check those games out too. I've got one of them on my iPad. That's been so long ago that game came out. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. It was a lot of fun. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll try to come with the show tomorrow if I can. I know I'm going to be packing to get ready to go to RTX. I'll tell you guys all about it on Monday. Hopefully that Castlevania series is going to be excellent. I can't wait to check it out. And yeah, see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye.